Hi, my name is Louise Ewing. I am an architect and co-director of a small architectural practice based in Clydebank. We were established in 2016 and since then we've grown from having 2 people in the business to 5. It was established between myself and my business partner Colin Hasty. We previously worked together in a larger practice in Clydebank for around 10 to 12 years each, when we decided that it was time to step out into the big bad world and start up our own small practice. We are called Bruach Design and Consultancy, so this is my colleague Laura Payton. Laura, what is your role and responsibility within the company?
So I am an architect within the company and I take on the daily tasks of designing options for our clients if they're designing new houses or extensions. We also look at a lot of new projects as well. So what do you enjoy most about your role in the office, Louise?
I think originally when I got into architecture, people would expect me to say that I enjoy most designing buildings, which I do. However, the thing that I get most from my job is working with people. I also enjoy getting out into the community, talking to community groups, talking to homeowners about extending their houses, talking to businesses about extending their premises. So within our job, we get to chat to and work with a great variety of people, which is probably the thing that I enjoy most, being quite a sociable person. Getting into architecture, you think that predominantly your day is going to be spent drawing and designing. I spend a lot of my day on the phone, a lot of my day emailing, a lot of my day going to meetings, and sometimes it's nice to escape from that and get back to the original tasks that I enjoy doing, which are drawing. Most of our time is spent actually drawing on the computer now. In our practice, we work with a 3D drawing package called Revit. So we do create the traditional 2D drawings, floor plans, elevations, sections of our buildings, but we also generate 3D models.
So my role within the company is, as Louise says, doing a lot of the drawings and the detailing for projects, and I'm very close with the clients and developing what they would want for whether it's their house or whether it's for a community project. We usually start with initial sketches of their buildings and then we develop these into more detailed drawings, and that's when we produce 3D visuals and we create these lovely panoramic images which allow you to step into the building. So Louise, what career path did you take to get to where you are now?
In high school, I greatly enjoyed art and design. I enjoyed graphics. I'm not sure if that's what it's called now as a subject, but it's basically where my initial education in technical drawing started. And I also enjoyed craft and design. I enjoyed making things, so that was the sort of roots of my architectural career. Then looking through the prospectuses for university, joining the dots, the subjects that I did fitted in really well with architecture, so that was my main subject that I applied to university to do. So I went to, upon leaving school, I went to the University of Strathclyde where I studied architecture. The architecture course can be quite intense, it's a bit all-consuming, learning to be an architect. So I didn't take that on after second year at uni. So I was at uni for 3 years and then I took a year out in practice, which is the normal thing to do. That was really a key turning point for me. It was really when I went out into the office and got to meet people and got to see what the job was like on a day-to-day basis that I realised, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do for a living. So after the year out, I went back to uni and stuck with it for another 2 years. So that's 5 years in total at uni, and then you do a final year out in practice. And after that, in order to become a chartered architect, you have to do your professional practice exams, and that involves logging your experience in the workplace. It involves doing a written practice exam, and it involves doing an interview, an oral examination before you can actually legally call yourself an architect. My friends at university all went off to work in different practices, so some of us prefer to be in a smaller practice, others prefer to be in a bigger practice which specialises in commercial work, perhaps working on a large-scale hotel buildings, large-scale office complexes, things like that. When I first sat my professional exams, I didn't pass first time around. I always tell people that and tell people that it's really important to know that if you don't pass all your exams first time round, it doesn't matter. You know, sometimes that's better, it makes you stronger, it makes you reassess things. So not passing my exams first time around forced me to move practice. So I went from a small practice to a larger practice in Glasgow to gain more professional experience, and it was the best thing I did, because within a year I sat my exams again and passed, and here I am now running my own small business. Okay, so what about yourself, Laura? What was your career path to get to where you are today?
So I always knew I wanted to do something in design. I really enjoyed art, and I really enjoyed working with people. And it was sort of just towards the end of my time at high school, I sort of liked the idea of being an architect and managed to get the grades that I needed, which was very lucky. And like you, went to University of Strathclyde, did my 3 years there, and then came back to get my Part 1 placement in an office. I did manage to get the odd bit of work experience here and there, and they were great to add to the CV, and it really showed employers further down the line that you'd made a really good effort to try and get a job and to get experience. I then went back to uni and did my last couple of years, and then went to look for a job, and that's where I started working in the same office as Louise and our other director, Colin.
I think in terms of, if we were to give some advice to young people who might be looking to get into our industry sector, I would strongly advise getting in touch with some architects' practices if that's something that you would be interested in doing. A lot of architects are keen educators. We certainly enjoy educating young people in our practice, and it can be really valuable to get a work placement, a summer work placement for example. Quite often practices will be more than happy for young people to come in and spend some time observing what they do during the day, sort of 9 to 5, seeing the type of work they do and just getting a feel for being in an office. As I mentioned earlier, university is very different from practice life, and one can be more enjoyable than the other depending on what you think. So if you were considering applying to university to study architecture, I would definitely recommend getting a placement in an office, even just for a week or a few days, just to see what it's like, how it all works, and then you can really know that that's the career path that you want to choose, and most practices will be willing to do that. The training that you would expect to receive if you were to come and work in a practice like ours, we would train you in our software, which we mentioned earlier, train you how to use Revit, how to draw. Not everyone that comes into the practice knows how to use the software. That's another difference you can find between architects' practices. Some practices use AutoCAD, some practices use MicroStation, ArchiCAD, we use Revit, so you tend to find whenever you change practice you have to sort of relearn the drawing package that they use for their day-to-day work. If you were to come and work here with us and our team, we would provide training on how to use Revit, and for that people have gone away and done a sort of 2 or 3 day course to learn the core skills, and then very quickly they're up and running and how to use the software. And we're all currently learning how to use the rendering package, which is helping us to create videos and walkthroughs of buildings, which is quite exciting. Clients are really enjoying getting to see that, we're almost at the level where you can put on the VR headset and stand within the building and walk around it. We just have to buy that technology. But we can send clients videos and panoramic images of their buildings so that they can scroll around, and we really find that helps clients that don't read drawings on a daily basis understand the designs, which is a fantastic skill that we have here in the team. In terms of qualities, I guess we would just reiterate what we said about being a good communicator, being an organised person, and having an eye for design. I think they're the 3 main qualities, and enjoying working as part of a team. It's not really, although you can be a sole practitioner in architecture, you're never really working on your own. Even when you're a sole practitioner, you have to have clients, and you have to deal with councils, planning and building standards, you have to deal with builders, contractors, so you're never just isolated and working on your own. So I think being able to work as part of a team and deal with people is a real key attribute to have if you wanted to work in architecture.